So you're thinking of making a move to Naperville, Illinois, whether it's for a different lifestyle, change of jobs, the school district, whatever. Well, from living here my entire life, I'm going to share with you my personal perspective of the pros and the cons. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, and we're getting after it right now. What is happening, everybody? This is Austin Weiss. I am the go-to real estate agent here in Naperville and the Chicagoland area. So if you're ever thinking about making a move anywhere in Chicagoland, you can always give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I would love to have a conversation to simplify that entire moving process for you. So today's video is going to be kind of my 10 things that you may have read, seen, or heard about Naperville. I may be addressing a couple stereotypes, pros and cons, and kind of my opinions about what it's like to be and live here in Naperville from pretty much being here my entire life, being born and raised in Naperville, going through the school system, knowing a ton of people, and just kind of giving you the unbiased opinion and not sugarcoating anything to make sure that you're moving to the right area and selecting the right neighborhood to live in Naperville. So without any further ado, let's hop right into the first one. You know, with so many people knowing that Naperville is such a great place to live, and with so many people figuring out, hey, they can pretty much work wherever they want because of the pandemic and remote access to, you know, the offices and wherever, is Naperville getting overcrowded? So here's the short and long of it. So Naperville is a population of about 150,000. It's about 90, maybe 95% built out. There are a few neighborhoods right now that they're building on the southwest side of Naperville. So as far as overcrowded, no, I don't think so. I don't think it ever will be completely overcrowded, because when they built out the city, they did a good job of spacing the neighborhoods out. Pretty much you're going to get your quarter acre to a half acre lot in Naperville. You're going to have space. It's not going to be like the city where people are literally living on top of each other. And I think, you know, over time, like they're doing now, and they've done the last 15, 20 years around the downtown area, they've started to tear down a lot of those 1950s and 60s split levels ranches, and they're building up those 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 square foot, you know, modern style houses that everybody wants to be near the shopping, the restaurants, and the energy of downtown Naperville. So that's really what's going on here. As far as like what's going on in the market right now, and it's pretty much all over the country, the months of inventory is super low. So that might be what people are, you know, perceiving as overcrowding. You know, they're never going to get a house. But if you call me, we will put together a plan of action to make sure that you don't miss out on your favorite house. You know, I get calls from people that are saying, I'm looking on this website and this one, and they're going under contract right away. Well, that's probably because you're not working with a real estate professional, and you're not working with a real estate professional that actually knows Naperville and actually knows what they're doing and how to get you into those houses to make sure that you don't miss out on them. So I can't stress enough, give me a call. We'll set up a Zoom conference. We'll kind of put together a plan based on your lifestyle, what you want out of life, and maybe Naperville is not the right place for you. Maybe I could suggest a different area for you to kind of consider for whatever it is you want out of life for your family, to make the best decision for yourself. So at the end of the day, you know, I've got a process of helping people that pretty much has perfected the whole home search process. And a lot of the agents in the area know that I'm the YouTube guy. They know I'm gonna be talking to a lot of people calling me from these videos. So if that's something that you wanna use to your advantage when shopping for a house, but I can't stress enough, just reach out to me if you ever have any questions about the moving process. Number two, let's talk a little bit about the weather. So in a couple of my other videos, I kind of made fun of the fact that it gets pretty cold here in the winter. And I gotta be honest with you, the last few years, I would say 4 out of the last 5 years, the winters have been very mild. So I'm talking about temps in the high 20s, 30s, and 40s. We get an inch or two of snow here or there, but it's really not that bad, and it's all worth it through those months of December, January, February to get to spring, to get to summer and fall, because they are absolutely beautiful here. I mean, I remember as a kid, it was way worse with the snow. We would get 6 to 12 inches, you know, probably 4 or 5 times throughout the winter, and we'd have snow days off from school, and it got really, really cold. But now that, I don't know, maybe global warming has something to do with it, or the change in the climates, it's really more of a mild winter here. It's not as bad as a lot of people think or what you're reading online. So just come here and visit in the winter. You can experience it for yourself. But going off of that, let's talk about a little bit about the beauty and the safety. So, we don't have to worry about hurricanes here. We don't have the forest fires like they do on the West Coast. And we don't have the super hot, sticky summers that they get in the southern and the central states. So in addition, we don't have the snakes, the huge bugs, the giant tarantula, mosquitoes, and things like that here in the Chicagoland area. So for the most part, it's mild. You're going to get beautiful weather from March all the way up until probably about Thanksgiving. It's going to be in those anywhere from 50 degrees all the way up to about 85, and we might hit 90 for a few weeks in the summer. And it's just a beautiful environment. It's really spectacular to go out and just explore and do a lot of things in nature. So I can't stress enough, and we'll get more into that later in this video. Number 3, and you have to eat like I do, it's the food and the beer. And Chicago is consistently ranked amongst the top major cities for their food, beer, and desserts. And it has slowly trickled out to the suburbs, and Naperville has become the destination in the western suburbs for their food, their gourmet desserts, their beer, their cocktail lounges. And there's several spots throughout the city where they're hot spots where they have half dozen to a dozen restaurants all within the same half-mile radius of each other. And it's just a really fun time to kind of bar hop or go get different appetizers and dishes at different restaurants. I have to imagine that after this whole craziness of the last year or so is past us, that those restaurants will pick up the business again and it will get back to somewhat normal. But again, I guess the only con to any of that is that you could overeat yourself, maybe put on a few extra pounds. But like I said, the food is absolutely spectacular. We have not only Chicago style, but from different restaurants from around the world, the country, and anything you want here, we got it. Okay, moving on to number 4 is the affordability. And this really depends on where you're coming from, because if you're coming from a high price point area like New York, California, and a couple other spots, you might think that Illinois and Naperville is a fairly affordable area. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's a high cost of living here in Illinois, specifically Naperville, but you get what you pay for, and that's because of the great schools, the high-paying jobs, all the amenities, and just an overall safe environment. Like I said before, we don't have to really worry about natural disasters here. We don't really need to worry about a ton of crime in this area. And I'm not steering you in any way. This is all public data that I will actually link down below. But Naperville has some of the best schools in the country. We also have a ton of high-paying jobs here. So if you're looking to, switch up your career or, kind of move on to that next point in your career, this could be the destination for you. Types of homes in this area, you're probably going to get about 3,000 square feet with a finished basement, a 2 or 3 car garage for that $500,000 price point in Naperville. That you could definitely find something maybe in that $350,000 to $400,000 price point, and you can certainly find a 5,000 square foot plus house for $800,000, $900,000 all the way up to about $1.2 million in Naperville. It really depends on what your budget is and what you're looking for and what you want for your lifestyle. Going off affordability are the schools and the daycares, and I'm not gonna lie, they're very competitive. In order to get your toddler into a daycare, there's a long waiting list, and especially some of the top daycares in the area. The schools, the high schools, you're gonna get about 3,000 kids per high school. They're fairly large. They're in the largest class for most of the competitive sports and extracurriculars in the state of Illinois. The academics are very competitive. So I guess on one end you could consider that a pro, but also a lot of people consider that a con if you're, if you can't compete. But I think that's a good life lesson, because when you do get out in the real world, everything's competitive and everyone's fighting to be the best all the time. So I think Naperville did a good job of prepping a lot of its students. I'm certainly grateful for the opportunity to go through the school system, and I think I turned out okay at least. Going off of that, we have some of the highest rated schools here in the Chicago suburbs, and specifically Naperville, in the entire country. And I will put links down below so you can read all about the schools, the school districts, and some of the other top school districts in the Chicagoland area. And even the schools in the surrounding towns of Naperville that are kind of that 6 or 7 out of 10 rating, those are still fantastic schools. They're still great. They still turn out great people, and I have a lot of friends from other towns now and growing up. And the reason why those are rated the way they are is because when they calculate the algorithms on a lot of those websites, they're factoring in income, and there's a lot of retirees in those areas, and it lowers the scores of those schools. So there's still great schools. You can still find great homes and great people in those areas as well. So if for some reason Naperville's not the right fit for you, or you're priced out, I can still recommend several areas where you can get a great education for your family and your children. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to give me a like button. It really helps me out in order for my videos to reach more people just like you looking for awesome information about whether or not they should move to Naperville or anywhere else in the Chicagoland area. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear some feedback or any future videos you'd like me to do for you. Number 6, the outdoors. And you might be saying, well, that's the con of Chicago. It's flat, there's no ocean, there's no mountains. And I gotta be honest with you, when I travel, I could totally see myself living in that mountain town or by the ocean and the seashore. But here in Chicago, I gotta admit, I'm an outdoors guy. I've pretty much explored every single forest preserve, every hiking trail, biking, river, you name it. I love to kayak, fish, hike, bike whenever I can. I mean, even this morning, I went for a hike out in the snow and the ice. I didn't care. I just went. I love being out in the fresh pine. It's awesome, and there's plenty of space here in the Chicagoland, outside the city, and in Naperville for you kind of to explore your inner mountain man or whatever you want to call it. So the beautiful landscape, there's plenty to do, and if for some reason you miss the mountains, you miss the ocean, you can always hop on a plane at one of our 2 major airports and get there really quickly. And I have to admit, when you're laying on the beach downtown Chicago staring out at Lake Michigan, you have no idea it's not an ocean. It's a huge body of water. You might as well be laying on some beach in Florida or whatever, but it's really cool with the backdrop of the city with all the condo and business towers. And you don't have to worry about big fish swimming around in the water because it's all fresh water. It's super safe, clean, and it's just a really fun time just to sit there on the beach of Chicago and enjoy a nice summer day. And what would a video about Naperville be if I didn't talk about downtown Naperville? So number 7 is the iconic downtown area with its Riverwalk, shopping, bars, restaurants, its beautiful landscape, artwork, fountains, and just an overall awesome place to be. People come from all over just to visit downtown Naperville for the aforementioned. It's just an awesome place to kind of be and just to experience, especially in years past before all this craziness of the last year with all the festivals, concerts, sidewalk sales. And it's just there's an energy about being downtown Naperville that's awesome, and especially if you live within the downtown area, it's really cool to just walk out your front door, walk to downtown anytime you want, and just be in that environment. So I have to imagine within the next few months or maybe next year or so, Naperville will kind of get back to where it was pre-pandemic, and it will be thriving again and just an awesome place to come visit, spend an evening with friends, family, and do whatever. Moving on to number 8. So one of my least enjoyable things in life and something that I kind of dread is traffic. And here in Naperville with a large population, one thing is for certain that a lot of people are trying to get to certain places at certain times of the day in large numbers. So I'm talking about school and work during rush hour times in the morning, kind of between that 7 and 9 a.m. time frame. And probably about 3:30 to about 5:30 in the evening are the heavy traffic times. So Naperville is a large area. It could take you about half hour to get across town in high traffic times. Definitely avoid the major roads. You want to take the back roads and cut through the side streets for sure. I've had several people come here to look at houses from out of state, and they ended up being 15-20 minutes late to a house showing because they were stuck in traffic. And they told me that I was right from my videos, that I wasn't lying. Traffic was pretty bad here. It's not to the point where you're going to be parked on a road or an intersection for a period of time, but traffic will move. It's just that certain times of the day there's high volumes of people trying to get to places. So that being said, moving on to number 9, and this is more of a false stereotype con about Naperville, but a lot of people who aren't from here or have never visited Naperville, don't know much about it, think that everybody in Naperville or who's from there is a snobby, entitled rich person. And that is 100% false. There's many different demographics from all different income levels who have all different education backgrounds and all different occupations, and it's just 100% false. I will admit, there's a small portion of the population that does think that think they're entitled and they can get whatever they want. But it's such a small portion of the population, and I think if you look hard enough, you probably could find those people in any town or city, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. But I think Naperville would not be as great of a highly rated town as it is if there wasn't awesome people here who actually cared about their community, cared about each other, and making it the best possible place and making it special to live in. So at the end of the day, I think it comes down to who you choose to associate with, and it's your responsibility to, kind of determine whether or not they deserve your time or not in your life, and whether your family should associate with them at the end of the day. And last but certainly not least is get out and see stuff. Come visit here to Naperville, come to Chicago, and come see for yourself what it's like to make sure that it's the correct fit for you and your lifestyle, for your family and your future. Come see all the family events, the concerts, the downtown area, the nightlife, the restaurants, and go and see and check out the schools. I can't stress that enough, to do all this research before you go and make that down deposit on an entire house. So if you don't want to be stuck in traffic or living in the wrong area, there's only one way to avoid that, and that's to pick up the phone and give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I will simplify this entire moving process to the Naperville area for you. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later.